So this one was a bit fiddly to get out, and I have to also desolder a second capacitor from the main board here. So there down here, there's the second one, this black cap. And I can't really see from the pictures which side is the positive side of the capacitor, the negative one. So positive is marked on the back or towards the back of the board, which is this side here. And let me get a light, maybe I can see which way around this one is. So minus is towards this side, so minus pointing is to the left. If that's minus, let me check. Yeah. And let's try to get that one out. Now it's a transistor amplifier. And yeah, this model was built from 1967 until 1982. So they stopped building those 40 years ago. And when I'm done refurbishing this one, it should be better than new. So the manual that I've got with the components has a couple of improvements that makes it better to plug in CD players or MP3 players and so on. And so this one came out like this, which means plus is now on the top, which means plus is pointing towards this corner of the PCB. So if I replace them with newer capacitors in a bit, I can make sure the polarity is all right. So this is the first stage. There's also a second stage transistor amplifier that is also connected to it, which is a bit bigger, which I will also take apart and replace the components. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting this done. I've had this thing lying around for a couple of weeks now here with the new components. And also next step will be starting to replace the capacitors and the transistors on this board here. So there's two, and there is one for the left channel and one is for the right channel, and they get plugged in like PCI Express cards into the main board, which is, I think, really, really nice design. And where is my flux? Here we go. Just adding some flux to the pads here, and with a little bit of heat and the desoldering wick, the solder is gone, and the vias or the through holes are usable. Have to get this a bit closer here. And that's that cleaned up, almost cleaned up. Yeah. So what I wanted to try today is, so what you can see here on the solder fume extractor here, is a bunch of carton and tape, and I will try to attach the camera to the solder fume extractor, so you should be closer to what I'm doing wherever I'm soldering, and it's never in the way, and it has to point to where I'm soldering in any case, so this way I can keep the camera pointed at the places that are also interesting for you to watch. And to check with the manual now, second, and I can show you quickly on my desktop here. Those are the two capacitors that I just removed. Yeah, it's also, yeah, the plus is here on one side and the pads are diagonal, so top left corner from this perspective is where the positive pin has to go through. And yeah, we'll insert this one first because this one's trickier to get at, and then this one. So, whoop. And it's going to be 100 microfarads, 10 volts, which is this one here. No, that's 22. This one's 10 volts, 100, and this one's 10 volts, 100. So this is the component that will go back inside, and that's where you can see it. And you can see one leg is shorter than the other one. The negative side of the capacitor is shorter, the plus pin is longer. And the dumbest way I managed to remember is you need more paint to draw a plus than a minus, so the longer leg is plus. I'll have to bend the legs a little bit first. So I'm just going to bend this one to match the whole distance here, because back then the components were a bit bigger than they are right now. And The legs don't really match, but that's not a problem. Just double checking with the components that I have here that I'm using the right ones, otherwise that's going to be a lot of fiddling. It's 7 and 4.7, 22, 110, 22, okay. And this one is what? 470, okay. So the longer leg goes into the top right corner. So let me move the camera into place here. And I'm holding it with one finger from the back. And just add a little bit of solder on one leg first. And push it through. So I'm going to check before I'm going to solder the second leg now. It's sitting nice in there. I think that's okay so far. It's the second. And we trim the legs. So, and repeat with the second one, and then we're done with replacing stuff on the main board, and it will be easier to handle the other ones. Forgot to bend this one, so I was just wondering why isn't it not really sitting flush on the board from the back. So for those of you who are watching, what do you usually watch here on Twitch? What are good channels that you recommend that I should also look at? Live Overflow. Is that someone coding? Because it sounds like Stack Overflow. Welcome back, Tomichi. I haven't switched anything on, so there wasn't any magic smoke yet. Cybersecurity channel. Yeah, actually I should take a look at that. It's nothing that I have any idea of. And I think everyone should be, to a certain degree, aware of what's happening in that area. So that's those two replaced. This one here, those two here. And according to the manual, those are the balance caps. Okay. Then I keep scrolling in the PDF. And we'll come to these two here. So let me align the mat a little bit so I know where I can work, where you can see what I'm doing. Also recommend John Hammond. What does John Hammond do? So one thing I noticed was that, oh, that's interesting now. So both boards have the same revision, but they have different capacitors on them. Well, they might not be different, but they might be just different packaging here. If you look at those metal boxes versus the plastic ones. And I remember now because so these amplifiers, this one that I have is the one from my granddad in England, and this one has been serviced on the 12th of August 1980, and he complained that one channel was somehow wrong, and they said everything is alright with the device and sent it back. But if I look at the PCB now, I see that they are not identical. So they either switched the components exactly on this device while manufacturing, or they actually did swap a channel here. So the right channel was replaced. But other than that, they look identical. So, and according to the manual, let's make this a bit bigger. I have to replace all those now. So that's C401 with 2.2 or 4.7 microfarads. So this is 4.7 and this is 4.7. So I have two of those. And I don't have any 2.2, so I'm going with 4.7. And I have to get 47 UF is the blue ones. And 22 is those two. Yeah, so the current state, I think that it's broken because the capacitors, I think they're pretty much done. When I turned it on the other day, it just popped really loud and hissed. So I'm going back to the desk so you can count the components while I collect them here. So two groups, one for each. And that's the capacitors. Resistor 411 with 1K, brown, black, brown, brown. No, brown, black, black, brown, brown. So I have to go looking. Brown, black, black, brown, brown is those. And resistor 412 with 1K3, which is brown, orange, black, brown, brown. Where's brown, orange, black, brown, brown. That's those two. Brown, orange, black, brown, brown. 1.3 kilo ohms. And the three transistors with BC50. 0, 1, 2, 3 for the left channel, and another 3 for the right channel. just put one each away into a tiny box so I don't mix them up. Why can't they just use the same numbers that's on the small resistors? I don't know. I could get creative and guess it was easier to print colored rings 50 years ago or 60 years ago than like these tiny labels onto SMD components. And on the other hand, if you work with SMD components, you have them labeled in a box with a label, and you're not going to read the components to find the right one. It's the first one, it's the second one. I'll start with this one. I don't know why, just take that one. And I'm going to take a pen now and mark which resistors need to go out. And it's going to be, so let's see, the capacitors 401, 405, 406, 401, 405 is this one, and 406. Wait, I have a different board. Same capacitor place for issue 1 boards. This is issue number 3, so this is 0.3 here at the back, so I need to look at a different picture here. And they move the components around a bit, which matches more what I'm seeing here. So that's 401, 405, and 406. So okay, this one has to go, this one has to go, this one has to go. And the resistors are 411 and 412. Only 2 resistors need to go, 411 and 412, which is 411 and 412. 411 is this one here, and 412 is this one. Okay, I'm going to try out my helper here. Let's see how this goes. So this way I can just write this. Well, I think I'll take out the capacitors first because they're the biggest and they will give more room to access the other components. The soldering iron fell asleep again, so we'll have to wait for that to warm up again. There it is. Wait a second. This is not actually. It's those two. So this one should, yep, and this one. Yeah, I was desoldering the wrong pin here for a second. So that's the first capacitor out, and then this one. And I'm guessing it's this pin. Yes, and this pin. This one's out, and the next one. I actually did not buy this holder. So this is the OmniFixo. If I move the leg away. And they sent it to me for free to try out, and I'm actually liking it. And it's one of the perks of having a bunch of followers more on Instagram than here on Twitch, where I sometimes get goodies for free. It also has a bigger version, which has 4 of those arms, which has twice the round plate. But I think the smaller one is cuter. It takes less space, and I think 2 arms is enough for most of the cases. Sometimes I need 3 or 4, but yeah. So if you want to get, I think it's omnifixo.com, and the account on Instagram is omnifixo. If you just Google omnifixo, you will find it. And the second one is this one at the bottom. Let me guess which legs that are. It's those 2. Okay. And that's the third capacitor gone. And we need to remove the transistors. I think they will be tricky. And one thing I'm going to do is take a look at the manual and mark on the PCB where the flat edge is. And I just hope that's consistent with the packaging of the flat edge goes in the same direction as those boards are here. So I'll just get my pen and just do a tiny mark on the PCB. I started, I think, don't let me lie, 36 minutes ago, and just mark here, here, and here, so I know where the flat edge will go. And the magnets here are collecting all the components. Move them away a bit. And desolder the transistors. Let's see how that goes, because they have 3 legs. The 2-leg components are always easy to get out, I think, because you can just wiggle them about. What's this? It's this one here in the corner. There. That's the first. And where's the second? In here. I can just about reach it. I need to use pin 7, and that doesn't work. Just going back in. So first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add another pair of these feet here, because 2 are not strong enough because it's wiggling about too much. And I think I could fix that by pushing the stoppers through a bit more. But let me just quickly try with 4. And there's no space here, so this one has to go here, here, and the last one here. Yeah, now it stopped wiggling. And that's this one out. There's the third here at the bottom. I also checked if the part is good before soldering. That's actually, considering the fiddliness of getting them back out again, not a bad idea. So I checked all the part numbers of the transistors. They're all according to the data sheet. And I would just assume they're okay, but testing them it's not going to take long. I have this LCR tester thing, and I have to get out the resistors. So that's this one. This also goes in this hole, and up and outwards. It should be this leg here, and this leg. Yes, this one's out. Yes, that's correct, they're magnetic. That's this one, and the other one is the one here on the side, which is this leg. The first pin is always the trickiest one. As soon as you have them bent open, you can get them out pretty easy. So I'm going to clean this board up, and then I will also desolder the second board, because I still have somewhere in my memory which parts need to go. So I will just remove this one. Keep it here for reference, and repeat this for the left channel. Yeah, it's a shame that the base plates of all the microscopes that you can get, the digital ones, they're not made of magnetic metal. I think it's aluminium, so they save in shipping costs, or I don't know, manufacturing costs. But it means they're not magnetic, so I can't put them on there. So that would be really nice to have something to replace that with a proper metal one, and then you could have more space to put them on and move them around. So the bigger one gives you more positioning space than the small one here. So let me double check which components need to go. So obviously the capacitors and the transistors, and 2 resistors need to go, and it's this one, 411 and 412. Is this one? This one, let me double check. And this one. So do you prefer background music or no background music here on Twitch? Or are you already listening to your own background music? I think I would expect everyone to have their own music running, because everyone has a different taste in any case. The reason why I had one stream where I played some music that I made on my tablet to have some background music. I think it's nice to have some background music because you don't have all the silence. But if I want to make a video out of it, it's kind of impractical, because I have the the music when I start cutting stuff, I start cutting up the music which is also in the voice track, and I haven't figured out how to save it that it's not the same track. Maybe I can. Yeah, picture. Yeah, I think TT, you're doing way too many things at the same time. And if I had music running, I would just unmute the music like this. Let me see if I can hear what's running. I actually can't hear a thing, so I have no idea what's running. So I'll let you be the judge of the volume, if it needs to be lower or higher. All I can hear now is the solder film extractor running. And I'm not going to put on headphones, because I would just rip my ears off by tripping over the cable. Here so you can see what I'm doing. Capacitor number 1, capacitor number 2. As I've heard no complaints yet, I'll just keep it, or read no complaints yet, I'll keep it running. And capacitor number 3 goes out. Wait, I'm moving it and it's not moving. I think I'm desoldering the wrong links here. Oh, it's those two. I think it's kind of stuck to the board. What's wrong with it? Why is it not moving? Now it's moving, okay. And it's out. And transistors, the fiddly 3-feeted components. I almost burned my finger there. I should add a timer. Streaming minutes since I last burned my finger. The reason why I'm going closer to the camera every time is because it's closer to the solar film extractor, so I don't have to inhale everything that much. That's those 3 desoldered, and the 2 transistors that I marked, which is this one and here's the second. This one. Slowly hobbling out of view again. That's all the components. Put a touch plate on your solder tip that auto resets the timer. Yeah. That's a nice one. It's like those table saws that stop when you accidentally touch them. Just should reset the timer. So I just removed this one and this one because one more is, let's see. Now I have a better idea. Let's move them over here and grab them from this angle. So 3 feet make it for much better tension. So, Mr. Techno-Turk, what are you working on at the moment? Are you also fixing old stereos or annoying your cat? This is 2.5. I want this one, the 3mm one. Oh, this is the empty one. Goes into the trash, and 3.5mm, that's okay. No, change my mind. So I'm cutting a few strips of the desoldering wire, because I will use them pretty quick now, and add some flux. So the transistors need cleaning up, which is this one, here, here. The capacitors is 1, 2. That was the third. Here. And the 2 resistors. They were removed here in this corner. And I think it's this one here. I hope you had a good snooze then this afternoon. Yeah. No, I went from work to cleaning up, eating something, and then soldering here. Yeah, flux is what always makes the difference in soldering. Always, always, always. I'm going to try to get the microscope to work, because I think this is so satisfying to watch. I will give it a second chance today to show you. So I'm going to move this a bit forward. Here. And let me plug in the microscope. And this should place the microscope somewhere. LEDs on. Let's turn also this thing on. Right. And it's not showing anything. Why? This one. So at least it has some light at this point. Just need to make it focus, which is not here. So if I put it here, what happens? I think no. I've set it to automatic exposure, but that's not helping. If I put this here. So this works. This we can see, but apparently this PCB is immune to the microscope. I don't know. I'll move the lights a bit closer and see if that helps. Oops. Aha, now we have something. Okay, close enough. Move this above it and angle the camera down, and you can see something. Okay. How about this? Yeah, right, the colors are kind of gone. We play around with the remote. But is it really the colors? Let me check. So this is a... Yeah, I'm kind of messed up the colors. I will just unplug it and plug it back in, and let's see if I reset it back. There's still no colors. Problem is I don't have the display on it, so I can see what I'm doing here. No idea. It's black and white. Yeah, I'm getting a new 7-inch display for this one, for the microscope, so I can have some direct feedback while I'm working. I always have to turn around and take a look at the screen here. So the microscope is one of those 40 megapixel Ekins, and I have no idea how to get the picture on this properly. Ah, wait, this is color. I found the right button. Okay. Lol. And more flux. And try cleaning up that via again. And that's that. And this one. Let's get the focus better. I think, yeah, it's something to 50 times magnification. Definitely not 1000. And let me quickly check. I need to clean out this one and the one on the top, which is this one. Next strip, we'll clean out this piece. It's good enough. And this one and this one. And that's capacitor 2 and 3. Capacitor 1 is already cleaned up. The resistor is not completely cleaned up. I still need to clean up this one. Resistors are cleaned up, capacitors are cleaned up, the 2 resistors are cleaned up, so I can switch the boards now and also clean up the second one. I almost burnt myself with the soldering iron. Just a quick inspection, and this one hole needs to be cleaned up a bit more here. This one. Yes, so second PCB, where is it? Here. So let's start with the, let's get my orientation with the capacitors first, which is, I lost my orientation again on the PCB. This one and this one. No, nothing happens because flux is missing. So the first board, if there's two boards, will always take longer than the second one, because on the second board there's kind of muscle memory involved. Not muscle memory, but yeah, you remember. It's easier to remember which components need to go, which places need to be cleaned up. Yeah, I'm happy I got the microscope to work, because this is it's stuff that I can post on Instagram tomorrow. Hi Pt.2 Niels. Yeah, this is actually satisfying. Soldering is like having a 3D printer. It can be really satisfying to watch, but it can also be really annoying if you have some kind of trouble, the wrong settings, the wrong temperature. And wait, there's one. Also means this one. Oh, I just tricked myself, I desoldered the wrong one. And go over here and down this way. But the next viewers to clean up. electronic N2 wristwatch. Nope, this is not the wristwatch. I'm waiting for new PCBs. They're supposed to arrive next Monday. And yeah, I will be soldering them here live on the stream as well. I'm using this project here to do some practicing, warming up with Twitch, OBS Studio, figuring out which setup works for me while working and for you to watch what I'm doing. And I need to clean up one more place, which is this one. I can't find it on the microscope. That one. Yes, that's an amplifier. So let me check. Does it look usable yet? Not quite. That's 3 transistors, 2 capacitors cleaned up, and 2 resistors cleaned up. So the second board is also ready for soldering now. Let's get all the rubbish away. Yeah. And I'm going to switch the cameras. I think you can see more if I go this way. Just with the desk cam, the microscope is too close for soldering because I have to move the board all the time. And I think this should work out. Does it focus? Song's too loud. Yeah, well, let me switch that off. So you can see it's the quad 33. This one is the left, so this is the right channel amplifier of the quad 33. I need to take a look at the schematics first, the manual for a second. And resistors, I will start soldering them because they're the smallest ones to put my finger on. 411 is 1K, which is brown, black, black, brown, brown, which is this one. And it will go 411 is brown, black, black, black. Brown will go, I think this is the one that's more to the center of the PCB. That one will go here. To bend the legs, and we'll add this one. So what does this resistor do? That's a good question. It will reduce the gain by a factor of 2.5, allowing modern sources like CD players to be connected without distortion to the radio 1 or 2 inputs. This will also improve the signal to noise ratio by about 8 decibels. So I have no idea. So the PCB is 42 years old, at least 42 years old. And there's an upgrade kit that I ordered to fix all the leaky capacitors and replace a couple of components to improve the sound quality. And I can't go wrong with whatever I'm doing because right now it's closer to not working at all. And we'll see. And the second resistor, let's first cut off the legs. And I'm going to double check with the manual that I'm not doing the wrong things here. 412, 1K3 is brown, orange, black, brown, brown, which is brown, orange, black, brown, brown, this one. And is the one on the edge of the PCB. Why is it that when you bend the first leg always bends really nice, and the second one always goes bad. I'm a software developer, so this is just my hobby. I'm able to read datasheets and copy what's in the datasheet into KiCad, and I can read instructions to replacing components and try to not go wrong. But stuff that I'm actually way better at doing is building something like this and writing the software for it. Yes, I said KiCad, yeah. And I have to check one thing on this PCB. Did I mark? This is the PCB where I marked where the transistors, how the transistors are aligned. I'm going to copy this over to the second channel now, just as a reference. I think it's kind of obvious from how the hole, I broke my pen, how the holes are placed in the PCB. I don't know what Proteus 8 is. If that's the software to create PCBs, I'm not aware of it. And I use KiCad because it's open source, which means it's free. But open source also means that it's really a great philosophy behind the project. Okay. You know what? I'm going to do the same thing in the other PCB because I just did this one successfully, and I will repeat that step. So this is this. And where's my second box of capacitor components? So this is brown, black, black, brown, brown. Yeah, it's popular, but they cost a lot of money. And for people like me who just do this for a hobby, I have to check what's the cheapest way of doing things sometimes. And soldering. And the second one, 1.3K, brown, orange, black, brown, brown, will go exactly here. It's resistor number 2. And I will continue with the capacitors now. Scrolling. So C401 is 2.2 or 4.7. Let me double check which components I have. This is 47. 22 is the 406. And this one is the 4.7. In this case goes to 401. And 401 is on the side where there's only one capacitor, which is this side, and plus is downwards. Let me bend those first. No, I've never worked with the CAN bus protocol, only I2C and SPI so far. Yeah, watch this one. And plus is towards the bottom of the board. Let me check that. See, yeah, almost. Man made a CAN bus injector first card that injects the color of LED on its dashboard. Türk müsün dayı? Evet dayım. Aha, ben Instagram hesabından girdim abinin. I can practice my Turkish with you guys here. That would be fun. Like soldering and Turkish for beginners. Benim adı Paul. Sizin adı ne? You have to stop me. Yarım İngiliz, yarım Alman. 5 sene İstanbul'da oturduk. No, I'm not Turkish. Maybe a little bit Turkish. C405 is 47. It's the blue one. C405 is the one closer to this resistor. And plus goes down again. Send them up, yeah, I recognize some of the words that you're writing, but I'm not sure I'm understanding everything. I think TT can help me out. Let me see. Ben de işte biraz meraklayayım da ne demek? Öyle öğrenmeye Learning by doing. I'm not quite sure if this is what you're saying. And 25 goes to 406, which is this one. And again, plus pointing down. You need shawarma. I wouldn't say no to shawarma. You've come to the right place. If you have questions about things, I can only give you wrong answers and still make it work. That's the capacitors, and let's have some fun with the resistors, which I need to bend a bit first. So let's give it a try. First those legs. Yeah, right? This was supposed to happen exactly like that. No. Like. I think the spacing is okay for those two pins. Yeah, I think you lost me there. 2 and the third one. So I remember when Techno Turk said we should test the components first. If I'm taking a look at the clock now, I'm skipping that. I just trust the kit that I got is alright. The components have the right labels, so that's fine. Opa. Not face to face, but we will someday. Just have to get this pandemic crap behind us and find the time. It's the first leg of each transistor first. I think I can lower the temperature of the iron a bit. That's that. Good night. Thanks for watching. So that's the first channel done. And let's quickly do the second one. So the small one, 4.7 C41 goes here, plus goes down. And the blue is 47, I prefer it. C45 goes here. And let's just add the second one while I'm at it. Yeah, I agree. So let's bend those tiny transistors. So, oops, inserting the transistors and soldering them. Let's quickly check they're nice in place. The first one is, the other two are not. So push them into place with my finger. Yeah, that's good enough for today. Switch off the soldering iron and remove the legs. That's basically it. So that's those two boards fixed. And I will do this one and this one not tonight. I'm done for today. So this one also has more than enough capacitors that need replacing. Alright, thanks for watching. See you next time. Maybe on Friday or Saturday. Maybe tomorrow, I don't know. Whenever I find the time to work on this project. And don't forget to tune in next week when I'm starting to work on the new watch PCB on this one here. That's going to be fun. Right, thanks for watching.